Welcome to Golborne Parkside COVID Vaccination Clinic. You've just in the car park where you'll be parking today and the entrance where you'll be coming in, and I'm going to take you through to the clinic now and show you what's going to happen and how it all works and what it looks like. When you get here to the car park, just look for a person who's in one of these oversized yellow jackets like me, probably with the NHS on the back, and they'll point you in the right direction. If you can't see anyone, just head up to the side of the building following the signs. Come with me. We have a strict one-way policy in these venues, which is why we bring you in at the side. So this is the door we'll be using to go in today. You'll be asked to put a mask on before you get in, so I've got mine prepared here. If you don't have a mask, don't worry about that. We've got them inside to give you one, so don't worry if you've forgotten it. And if you're exempt from wearing a mask, please don't panic. It's absolutely fine. You don't need to wear a mask if you're exempt, and we'll probably give you a little sticker that says exempt on it, just to make sure that you don't get asked to put a mask on over and over again. Once you've got your mask on, you'll be invited inside. First question will be, have you got an appointment? By this point, you'll probably be looking at people who are wearing blue t-shirts like this one, rather than the yellow jacket. If you have an appointment and you're near your appointment time, you'll be welcomed in and you'll be asked 5 questions. The 5 questions are: do you have a high temperature, cough, or a loss or change to your sense of taste or smell? Have you or someone you live with had a positive COVID test recently and you should be still isolating at home? Have you or someone you live with had a COVID test and are still waiting for the result? Have you returned from abroad and are currently self-isolating for the 14 days? Have you had any contact with someone who is waiting for a COVID test or has had a positive COVID test in the last 14 days? If you've answered yes to any of those questions, there's a chance you might have COVID. So we're going to ask to take your name and phone number, and we're going to ask you to leave today, and we'll rebook you in about 10 to 14 days when we know you've not got COVID. That is just to make sure that the venue is safe and we don't bring COVID in. You or anyone you arrive with will need to answer those questions. Don't worry, they're very simple, and if you have any issues understanding them, please just ask them to be explained or repeated. Once you've asked the questions, you'll be asked to sanitise your hands. The sanitizer is here. This is a medical grade sanitizer, so we will ask you to use ours if possible, but if you are allergic, please feel free to use your own. Give them a nice good scrub, and like I said, there are masks here in case you've forgotten yours. Once you've done all that, head this way, we'll get you booked in at reception. If you need the toilets, there are toilets, male and female, down here that you're welcome to use on your way in. When you arrive, if at any point there's a queue, we ask you to just make sure you stay 2 metres away from the person in front of you. 2 metres is about the width of a car, so imagine there's a car in the middle of you and you'll be about right. This is the reception. There are 2 reception desks here today. You'll be invited to book in at the next available receptionist. They'll ask you a couple of questions, including your name and date of birth. They won't ask for your NHS number here, so please don't worry if you don't know it. When you're booked in, they'll give you a little card. The card looks like this. It says on the front of it, don't forget your COVID-19 vaccination, and on the back it has space for your name, the name of the vaccine you're having today, the batch number and the date of the vaccine given. There's also a time for a second appointment, but you probably won't be given that information today. Keep hold of this card if you can and bring it with you next time, but if you forget or you lose it, please don't panic, it isn't a big deal. Once you're booked in at reception, you'll be asked to take a seat in the waiting area here. There are 6 different doctors and nurses usually working in this clinic, 1 in each of the little white areas. You'll be asked to sit in order in which you arrive. There'll be somebody here to make sure that you sit in the right seat so we know where you are in the queue. When it's your turn, you'll be invited in to the next doctor or nurse. And again, don't worry, someone will make sure that you get in on time. We'll go take a look in one of the pods now. So this is a pod. As you'll see, you'll have a doctor or nurse stood in here greeting you. There's a computer where they'll fill in all the details. There's a trolley which has all the vaccine and all the stuff that the nurse needs, and there's a chair for you to take a seat. Every pod looks very similar to this. You'll be asked to take a seat. You'll be asked to take your coat and any layers off. Please think about wearing something short-sleeved so that it's easy to vaccinate, or something where the sleeves roll up very easily. It's much more difficult for you if you start having to take layers off. The doctor or nurse, before they vaccinate you, will ask you a number of questions. These questions just make sure that you're well and it's safe for you to have the vaccine today. They might ask you if you've got any COVID symptoms, they might ask you if you've got an allergy, they might ask if you've been involved in a COVID vaccine trial. Just answer as honestly as you can to the best of your information, and they will talk through to you if you've got any questions. It's just to make sure you're safe to have the vaccine. Once you've had the vaccine, you'll be given a little card like this in most cases. This card will have the time that you've been vaccinated on. This is really important, particularly if you've had the Pfizer vaccine or if you're driving, because we need to keep an eye on you for 15 minutes after you've had the vaccine to make sure that you're safe and well before you head on your way. I'll explain more of that in the next area. Once you've been vaccinated, you'll be asked to take a seat over here in our observation area. Take a seat in any of these seats that are available. It really doesn't matter which one. Just make sure you're socially distanced from people at the time. The reason we ask you to sit here for 15 minutes is, if you've had the Pfizer vaccine, we need to make sure that you don't have any lightheadedness or dizziness or anything like that for the 15 minutes afterwards. So there'll always be someone checking you're okay and just keeping an eye on you. We don't expect there to be any issues, but it's good just to make sure. If you've had the Oxford vaccine, you only have to wait 15 minutes if you've driven. If you've walked, you can head straight on your way. But the rules around the Oxford vaccine mean you can't drive 15 minutes, so it's easier to sit and wait here than it is to sit and wait in your car. After you've sat for 15 minutes, keeping hold of that little white card so someone can check on it, you're free to go. The exit is just down here in the corner. Straight out through the door. You'll see we're now back on the car park, just a few metres from where we started. And that's you, that's your vaccine visit done. So I hope that's helped, and I'll see you here soon. Thank you.